Turn my phone down.
We're live now.
We're live. Turn my phone off. 5, 4, 3. Hey guys, it's Tom from Resale America. YouTube channel is Liquidation Motivation, where in our channel we talk about eBay, Amazon, pallet buyers, truckload buyers, bin stores, liquidation, consignment stores, and then building wealth. Everything's all about building wealth. So my whole game is you make money, you take part of your money, and you put it into appreciating assets. My favorite ones are cryptocurrency, and it's done me extremely well over the years. I just got back from Vegas. I'm so excited. I had such a good time at the ASD in Vegas. I met so many people. You know, everybody was there. I think the best thing about going to Vegas was that you were able to be face to face with the people that you deal with, the people that you buy loads from, the people that you hear about, other bin store owners, other flippers. You know, it was a great time. You know, I probably stayed out too late most of the nights, but you know, I went out for drinks, I went out for dinners with different vendors, with different brokers, and I would recommend, if anybody's ever thinking about taking this trip to Vegas, to go there, because remember, you got to get in somebody's face 3 times for them to remember you. All right. So when it's tough, there's so many people in this business. You just got to get to know them, learn them, and then build a relationship with them. Right. So once you build that relationship, that's a win-win. You never let go of it. You never let go of it. It was exciting. It was fun. You know, I met so many new people. There's hundreds and hundreds of booths that dealt with liquidation. And then if you also wanted additional inventory, if you guys have a store, consignment shop, you know, I always thought, like, if you did have a store and, you know, you get in maybe guitars, right? But then you can also find a vendor where you can buy the strings, you can buy the cases, you can buy the stands, things that don't normally come in your store. You can complement everything that you have in your store. So you could meet everybody in the world that's selling that kind of stuff there. And there were so many cool different booths. So I recommend ASD. It's every 6 months in Vegas. I'm probably going to go every 6 months just to, you know, I like an excuse to get out of town. Stanley, you get ready, man, every 6 months, man. Stanley, I think, had a good time there. So, you know, I think it's important to build relationships in this business, right? You know, the problem is that a lot of us aren't big enough buyers. Even with me having 3 stores and the world's largest liquidation store, I get most of my stuff locally. So I don't have a lot of buying power with the brokers, with the big brokers. Now, certainly my bin store co-op group and this channel has opened up a lot of doors with these guys, and they all seem to want to talk and seem to want to work deals and send me deals all the time, which is great. But if you're a smaller buyer, you're only buying 1 or 2 truckloads a month, you know, it's hard to get in front of their face. So then you have to go to a broker. And, you know, you might have to go to one of the large brokers that deal with a lot of loads, and they still might not want to deal with you. So you might have to go to a smaller broker who has the ear of the larger broker. But remember, every person that you get to beyond the contract holder is another additional fee. You know, and brokers sometimes charge $500 to $1,000 to $2,000. You know, and as you saw at Bin Store Co-op Group the other day, there was a broker marking up a load from Excess Limited over $6,000, which I think is absurd. I don't know the name of the group right now offhand, but it's incredible that somebody can mark something up $6,000. I'd love to make $6,000 on one phone call, or one phone call setting up shipping and shipping a load out. That's just crazy. And that's what ruins this business, is people that try to do that kind of stuff. It ruins this business. You know, I've had, you know, even in, you know, dealing with ASD and brokers at ASD, you know, they talk about, you know, how buyers like us, like me, you know, are complain about truckloads. And when I heard this, my first thought was, wait a minute, let me hear their complaint, because I also have complaints about truckload. So, you know, the broker explained the complaint to me, and then I certainly sided with the broker and not with the buyer. But I'm normally a buyer's advocate here. I want everybody to know I'm a buyer's advocate. And what I mean by that is that you need to set the expectations for the load, right? You need to say, what exactly am I getting? You know, what exactly is going to be on my truckload? And then when it gets delivered, it needs to meet that expectations. Now, does that, you know, maybe they'll say it's, you know, the manifest will be 90% accurate, right? That gives them a 10% leeway. But what if it comes in 50% accurate? You know, do you have the right to ask for a 50% refund? You know, what if you order a full truckload of furniture like I do all the time and it comes in a half truckload? You know, you have to set the expectation. You know, what's going to happen if those kind of things happen. So make sure it's clear your expectations, right? It's clear what's going to happen whenever you buy these truckloads. And then you have recourse. But if you don't make it clear at the beginning, if they just say, I'm sending you, like I ordered from East Coast Liquidators, and I'm going to call them out on it. I ordered a truckload of Wayfair from East Coast Liquidators, and it was only $2,500. It was cheap. It was shipped to me because it's in the state of Florida, and it ended up being, without a doubt, it was their Wayfair garbage. So they order Wayfair truckloads. They have a showroom. I've been to their showroom, nice place, and nice people. But they have furniture. They have everything in their showroom. So they buy from Wayfair, sell in their showroom. What was broken, what was crap, they created a truckload out of it and sold it to me. So that's unfair. But I didn't set the expectations beforehand. But that's unfair to dump somebody else's crap onto another person. And it's happened to me several times, and I learn from it every time. And I try not to make, or let me make those mistakes so you guys don't have to make those mistakes. How is Vegas? How is Vegas? I'd like the green screen background. Why not add your logo on the 2 doors behind you? There you go, Stan. Put the logo on my 2 doors back there, Stan. Yeah, this is a green screen, so we can put whatever we want up there. It's fun. It's incredible. It's kind of changes things for us. It's not as boring. So how easy is it to change the screen, Stan? Easy? Change it for me. Right? Give me something back there. Something more fancy. Something like Vegas. Give me Vegas, baby. Come on. So, you know, Vegas was great. You got to go to Vegas. You got to meet these people. If you're going to be in this industry long term, you got to meet these people. What's up, Esteban? You want to come in? You want to come in and say something?
No,
Oh,
I'll be your Jamie. You'll be Joe Rogan. I'll be your Jamie.
There you go. So let me see. I'm waiting for you to come on here. So Esteban hooked me up with a fellow YouTuber called Flippin' Ain't Easy. So we did an interview. We're going to have a video come out with him pretty soon. Flippin' Ain't, very nice guy who works out of his house. He quit a very good job in order to get in the flipping business. So now he does eBay 100% of the time. He buys pallets. He buys pallets mostly from like liquidation.com, bstock.com. He buys 1 or 2 pallets and gets them dropped off and does it out of his garage and has a full-time income from that. So he quit the rat race, and now he's doing his own thing, which everybody dreams about, right? You don't want to trade your hours for money, right? Don't trade your time for money, right? You want to trade your time for wealth. You want to build your own business where your income is unlimited. And we encourage that with everybody here, everybody that works with us. Stan needs to go out on his own and make more money. Everybody, Esteban, he's always working on another bigger idea, so that's cool. We love Esteban. He's the most organized guy that I know. You want to say something about your buddy? How did you meet him?
So John actually reached out to you on your YouTube channel, and he had a conversation about he was asking about the eBay stuff, so I replied to him, and so we had this little back and forth. And then I got to be on his channel to explain myself a little bit more in more detail on the project that I was doing for you and on Resale America. And so we stayed in communication. And when you were going to Vegas, I reached out to John to let him know that you were headed out that way. So that's the reason why I
Excellent. Excellent. Anytime you can collaborate with other YouTubers and you're in this business, you want to do it. So listen, if anybody has any questions about eBay, Esteban's the expert. I'm telling you, we handed our whole eBay department over to Expert. He's our consultant there. He manages all the employees. He does the, what do you call when you have people in other countries?
VAs.
VA.
Virtual assistants.
You want to say a little bit about what a virtual assistant is?
Yeah, sure. So the easiest way to employ people to do listings for your eBay store would be to outsource that, because it's a little cheaper for people outside of the country. And so what I do is I reach out to some girls in the Philippines that are interested in doing this for me, and I set it up on a third-party software called InkFrog, and they have a staff account, so this way they could list on our store for eBay. So virtual assistants, if you have any questions on how to hire a virtual assistant and
Let me dress him up a little bit here. Get him a microphone.
So if you have any questions about virtual assistants and how to set that up, let me know. I'm more than willing to help.
Yeah, so our process here is, so our local staff does all the pictures, and then Esteban sends them to the Philippines. They do the listing, right? They do it all in InkFrog. They import the listings back into InkFrog. We review them, and then we upload them to eBay. And I think that's kind of upped our game, right?
I think so. I mean, if you look at your own staff that's here in the U.S., we pay them, let's say between $10 to $12 an hour, whereas over there we can just pay them per project. And so why not use the people here in the U.S. to do the things that can be done manually? If we can outsource everything, even the photography, over to outsourcing that, then we would totally do that because it'll save us some money. But we can't do that. So let's utilize the time that we have. So instead of photography, then listing, we do photography, and then now we're producing a lot more listings in that sense.
Yeah, I mean, so when we first started, we did everything here, and then we tried to average out and cost out between shipping, listing, photography, everything together. We were pretty inefficient, I think, as a group. I think we're doing on average maybe like 3 or 4 listings an hour per employee. And anybody else in the eBay business know that's not, if you're doing it yourself, you can do about 10. But as soon as you hire an employee who doesn't really have the incentive structure to work as hard as they can, with all due respect, it's much easier to pay by the piece in a foreign country. And, that's very popular to do nowadays. Very popular to do. So listen, any questions on eBay? The expert is here. Put them in the chat.
I'm willing to help.
That's right. Oh, what is that? Don't go anywhere, Esteban. You got something you got to do?
No. I was stepping back. That's all.
All right. So when are you organizing a co-op buy? Irving asks, when are you organizing a co-op buy? We certainly want to do this co-op buy, and I've talked to a couple brokers this weekend about it. And the way that I see how it can work, so remember, brokers get a discount from the contract holders because they sell so much product. So what I'm working on is getting a broker to get the discount from the contract holder and then charge us back that amount in a fee. So it should be around $500. So we actually don't pay any more than we would from the contract holder, but we utilize the broker's ability to get a discount, and then he gets that discount back in his fee. And I think whenever we promoted it to the group, that $500 was a pretty good fee that everybody kind of agreed to. So we're still looking to settle on that. What I'd like to do is have a list every morning of the available loads, and then anybody in this group can go on there, deal with the broker, just let them know you're from Bin Store Co-op, deal with the broker, and then you can buy those loads. This company, we make nothing on it. We make nothing on it. The truth is, I'm doing it so I can see the loads too, right? I want to be able to see the loads too. So I'm real excited to get that started, to get that set up, but it is taking a little time. It is taking a little, convincing, because the brokers are used to making a little more money than $500 a load. But if they can, but my understanding is there's several loads. There's hundreds of loads out there not being sold, being warehoused. I was told this weekend that there's millions and millions of square feet of Amazon Small sitting there that people aren't buying. And that's because supply and demand dictates what? As the supply is high, the price needs to become lower. And I'm seeing it come lower and lower. I've seen 6% loads, 9% loads. I love 10%. 10% below is my sweet spot. Because it's easy to triple your money on 10%. It's not easy to triple your money on anything 20 or 25 higher than that. It's hard to triple your money. I love to triple my money. So 10% is my sweet spot. Was the store closed? No, the store wasn't closed. We got 50 employees here. My man Paul was probably running the store, right, Paul?
Yeah, he was.
Paul's in the background here. He was probably running the store. Paul does all of our social media lives during the day whenever I'm not doing them. He's like a celebrity in town now because he's always on social media. People come in the store like, hey, I know you. And if you're not doing Facebook Lives to promote your bin store, your liquidation store, whatever you're doing, you're crazy. You are freaking crazy. Go in there, start your Facebook group, promote a few listings so that people will come into your group. You're going to have to pay to promote them, and then just start doing lives. You're advertising to the same people over and over and over and over again, and then they get to know you. Once they get to know you, they're your customer, right? I mean, you go to a store, you don't know anybody, you have no incentive to come back. You go to a store and you're like, hey, there's Paul, there's Tom, you know, there's Stan the cameraman, right? There's Esteban, you know, they like it. They love it. They want to come back, you know, where everybody knows your name, right? What was that? Cheers? I might be dating myself here, but
everybody knows your name.
Remember how good of a singer this guy is, man. We have a video, a La Bamba video, where we got a karaoke machine. Go back and watch Esteban rock it out, man. It was incredible. Saw some mentions, but nothing final. What was that? Oh, yeah, the co-op buy. Yeah, we're working on that, Irvin. I promise you I'm working on that. You know, I mean, you know, right now the group is designed for everybody to collaborate with each other. I'm trying, I'm trying to define what can really happen in this group. Some people are putting loads in there, and I might leave that load on there for a few hours or a day or two, and then I delete the load because I really don't want brokers in there. But then I'm thinking like, well, what if somebody posts a load and it brings value to you? So why wouldn't I let somebody post a load? Like if somebody posted a load in our group from Orlando, which is 40 minutes from me, I mean, I'm going to want to talk to that guy, right? That brings value to me. So who am I to delete these brokers loads? But I don't want it to be muddied up with thousands of brokers loads. So I'm trying to be real selective on how that works. If somebody puts a lot of posts in there, I delete them. If you're a broker and you consistently put posts in my group about loads, I delete you. I don't let you be part of the group anymore. If you put something in once in a while, I'll leave it up. Hopefully you get 10 or 20 responses, but then I'm going to take it down. But if you're a store, if you're, people are, so you can complain, right, on Facebook. You can complain or send something to the administrator. I'm the only administrator on there. And some people give me a hard time about that, but I'm the only administrator right now. And people send me complaints about other bin stores putting their advertisements up there. This is what I want in this group. If you have a bin store and you're doing a video on your bin store, put it in the group. Put it in the group. I think that brings value to the group. I want to see your videos. Maybe I can change something up and do something a little better.
Yeah, we could always.
Yeah, we're gonna learn. We're definitely learning from each other. So anything about a bin store, somebody complained to me the other day, Stan, or yesterday. So when I set up this group, I did a Google search on bin store and I pulled a picture off Google and put it as our banner. And the guy messaged me, "Hey, that's my bin store. Will you take it down?" I'm like, yeah, I'll take it down. I'll take it down. I'll put a picture of my own up, it should be one of my bin stores, right?
I got plenty of pictures.
Yeah, but hey, you're in a group with 6,000 people in it now, and every day I wake up, hundreds of people are signing up for this group. Why wouldn't you want your store represented in there, man? I don't know. I got a little heartbroken that the guy wanted to take it down. Is that bad?
So ZY Abra says, I feel as if Tom should write a book. So motivating.
So motivating. I want to be a motivator. My goal is to be a motivator in life. I try to motivate everybody, my employees, everybody in my life, my kids. I want to motivate them because I just wish that I had a motivator, earlier on. I mean, I started this. I talk about the 80-20 rule. Spend 80% of your time learning, 20% of your time entertainment, right? Yeah. And I started this about 6 years ago, and it has absolutely changed my life. I mean, listening to Gary Vee, listening, to Earl Nightingale from the 50s. I mean, if you're not motivated, just listen to Earl Nightingale for a second, man. I mean, it's from the 50s, and it's about an hour-long motivational speech, but he's right. I mean, he's 100% straight on, and I listen to it once a month. And I've heard it 1,000 times, but I still listen to it because I need a little pick-me-up every once in a while, right? To get my mind right, Before COVID, Gary Vee was like 100%. I listened to everything he did because he was just so motivating. He would, that's where I get off your ass, right? Get off the couch and do it. Stop talking about it. I don't know how many people on our group are saying, "Oh, I'm thinking about opening a bin store." Thinking about it, open the goddamn store. Yeah. I got to write a business plan. You don't need it. 99% of business plans get ripped up after about 3 hours of work, right? Because then you're like, hey, reality just set in. This doesn't work. Don't plan. Go to work. Go to work and do it. And that's, I've been doing that all my life. I've opened hundreds of businesses, closed hundreds of businesses, right? And now I have, 7 that stick, that work. Right? You're going to find the ones that work for you, and it's just going to bring you wealth, bring you value in the future. So 100%.
Tom, I'm a planner.
He is this guy's the most organized guy I know. I think I said that, but
there's a balance to that. Like you set up bullet points, and then you run with the bullet points, and then you make adjustments along the way. but you just make bullet points, then take that move.
Yeah, I agree. So Esteban is writing our operations manual for our bin stores, and we're almost there. I mean, it's taking a little longer than we thought, but you know, we got to finalize. It's my fault because I haven't proofread it. I haven't went through it, given my input yet. But I have them on my conference table in my office. They're ready to go. And you know, once we get those done, we're going to release them to everybody else. So I have the operations manual for my liquidation store, and then the operations manual for my bin store. And what, you know, I don't know where it's going to lead us. You know, I don't know if we want to try to franchise bin stores or just help bin stores or whatever. But you know, we want to, obviously, when you run a business, you want to be, anything that's done regularly needs to be systemized.
I agree.
Anything, let me repeat that. Anything done regularly needs to be systemized. That way, when one person leaves the organization, another comes in, you can just show them the list of what to do, or the chart, or the flow chart, or tell them to watch the video, right? And that's what we're working on, because we want to have 20 bin stores. We don't want to have 2. We have 2 right now. We want to have 20. And it'll be so much easier when they walk in, they read the operations manual. They know the expectations. They know there's no discounts given. They know they can't set stuff aside for $1 day, right? Or they will be terminated. You know, they just got to know everybody needs to know the expectations. Just like our loads, right? We want to know the expectations for our loads. Our employees deserve to know the expectations for where they work. So yeah.
That's a good segue, because Brandon Funk says, is there a video on how to set up InkFrog for VAs? And that's something that I can put together. I can put together a PDF manual. We're currently building a website for liquidation motivation, and I'll have that available for you, so just where you can have a step-by-step guide on how to set it up on InkFrog. Good question.
Good question. Paul was probably sleeping when you were away. Paul was not sleeping.
Definitely not.
Paul's a workaholic, man. He's been working 7 days a week, you know, for the longest time. Now the school's back in. He's got it. You know, his wife is like a corporate executive, and she's gone away. Did she leave, Paul? Yeah, she's in New York right now. So he has to go take care of his kids every once in a while. But he's a workaholic, you know, and he's a great family man. So yeah, Paul's always here. He better not have been sleeping. Did you learn anything from your trip? I don't know if I learned. What did I learn? I don't know if I learned anything. Stan, did I learn anything? I mean, I've met a lot of people. You know, I was out till 5 o'clock in the morning every night. Don't tell my wife that. You know, it was a good time. It was a great time. It was more about relationships. But when you get in with the, you know, there's so many players in this game, and you know, and I feel like I know a lot of people, but then you talk to a broker or another bin store, and they're like, hey, do you know this person? I'm like, no. Do you know this person? No. You know, and it's like, man, why don't I know all these people? Oh, this guy's the contract holder for Target in Texas. You got to talk to him. Or, you know, and I need to know more. My problem, which you guys need to make this your problem too, is that I get most of my stuff locally. So I'm fortunate to get my stuff locally,
Absolutely.
right? I don't have to buy these truckloads, pay the shipping. You know, I get probably, I don't know, maybe 75% of our inventory locally, would you say, Paul? Yeah, probably 75% of our inventory is local. So you need to find the local people that are getting these Amazon Smalls or the nonprofit groups. You know, I buy from Inmar. I buy CVS and Walmart from Inmar, and their warehouse is 4 miles down the road. You know, so you find those places, and it solves a lot of your problem. I mean, it takes a lot of the problems out of the way. Shipping, you know, I just shipped something from Minnesota the other day. It was $4,600. $4,600. So, you know, I don't have that. I have my own trucks. So when I go pick up, I send my trucks out there. They come back. It's real simple. So, you know, that needs to be your problem too, that you buy a lot of it locally. You don't have to deal in the rat race of the game. You know, but you know, somebody told me this weekend I should be brokering loads. I should be trying to sell loads to other people, and he does very well brokering loads. And I just don't know if that's really my shtick. You know, I don't.
I mean, you would have to delegate it to someone else.
Yeah, somebody else would have to.
Oh, sorry.
No,
I made myself another project.
No, I just not sure that I'd want to. Yeah. You know, or unless we would like be the lowest price broker out there or something like that.
You were having other videos, and the other videos I saw, you mentioned that you should always look for the loads yourselves, not go through us, because you'll get a cheaper deal. Is that correct?
Yeah. Find the contract holder. But then you have that problem. Will the contract holder talk to you, right? I mean, a guy told me, you know, I recommended, you know, I'm not going to say the contract holder. I recommended to somebody the other day. And they're like, I called him 20 times. He never returned my call. But I get it, right? I mean, they don't have any problem selling these loads.
Yeah.
They don't need new clients. And listen, contract holders and big brokers, they don't want to talk to you. They don't. You want to know why? Because you're new. You're new, and they don't want to explain this freaking business to you. They don't want to. They don't want to tell you, oh, this is what you do if you get dog food in a pallet, or if there's mice in the bottom of a pallet, you got to ignore it. They don't want to deal with that, right? Because this is the business. They want people that know the business, that aren't going to complain because, you know, a TV was cracked on one pallet, right? It's liquidation, man. You got to expect that. You know, I've noticed, like, if you get a manifested load and there's nice stuff on there, there's something expensive, it's normally always broken, right? Especially if there's only one or two expensive items. It's almost like they take that expensive item and plant it in this truckload, you know, or to be like this, like Stanley's fancy camera here, right? It's a $3,000 camera. You'll get it and the camera will be gone out of the box, but all the accessories are there. But you can't complain about that. Yeah. You can't complain about that. That's why they put in there 90% accurate, right? So if it's a 10,000 item load, that means 1,000 items can be gone, and it can be the 1,000 most expensive ones. You know, so it's a fickle business, and they don't want to explain all this to you. That's why they don't return your phone call. You know, until you become, now listen, you're buying, you know, 5 truckloads a month, 10 truckloads a month, then they'll return your call. But most people are buying 1 a month, 2 a month, if that. You know, I mean. In my bin stores, a half a truckload fills them both up. So I would buy 1 a week. But if you have one bin store, you're only buying 1 every 2 weeks. Do you get a lot of returns from your eBay store?
All right. So Don Schwartz says, do you get a lot of returns from your eBay store? So just before I took over Tom's eBay store, there was about maybe a 20% return rate. And now it's down to about maybe between 2 to 3%, and that's because we couldn't process all the items fast enough, or I should say, we weren't being accurate in the items that we were listing. So we weren't really thoroughly reviewing the items that we were shipping out, thus causing return issues. Right now, most of the return items is mostly clothing that's people just doesn't fit them on, and it's very little, maybe 1% when it comes to electronic items.
But so we test everything. You never sell anything and assume that it's working, assume that it's good. You know, you good? We test everything. So anything you're going to put on eBay, make sure it's 100%. And if it has a flaw, put a picture of that flaw in there.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with pointing out a flaw, because we could either sell it for parts, or maybe they just want the accessories for this piece. So
yeah. So and don't let returns bother you. I mean, don't get me wrong. If they're out to screw you, you know, I hear a lot of people like buying a PS5, then returning a PS5 that's broken, and you know, protect yourself on that. When you're doing your pictures, make sure you get the serial numbers if you can. You know, do all those kind of things, because if you do want to make a complaint to eBay, you know, you got to have all the information. Some people take anything that's more expensive. You might want to take a video of it. You know, have that value. Anything over maybe $100 or $500, whatever you want to do. But don't let returns bother you. Just let it be part of the game. Right? Just let it be, you know, like Walmart, like 90 days free returns, no questions asked, right? You just got to be that way, because if you let it bring you down, you'll decide to close your whole business down because you get returns, and that's not going to benefit anybody. Just forget about it, relist the item, and go on. You might lose shipping, right? I mean, I really wish eBay would fix that, where you don't, I mean, you ship something out to somebody, especially if you do free shipping, you pay for the shipping there, you lose that money, you pay for the shipping back, you lose that money. But it's just part of the game. Just deal with it.
It is
making money.
You just add it to the cost of the item ahead of time.
Yeah, win overall. Because once you hit a home run, these are just average items, and then you're going to hit a home run, and all that stuff's going to be behind you. Not even going to care. A possible slide line for your company is to teach what it takes to open and then run a bin store step by step. I got you, Dino. You're right, man. I mean, we do a lot. If you look back at my videos, we do a lot of videos. I'm opening second bin store video that shows exactly what we do. I'm opening my first bin store video. That video was during Corona, during the virus, and we walked through everything we had there. I had my Corona weight on. I'm trying to get rid of my Corona weight. I'm a little embarrassed there, but yeah, look through our videos. We will have a step-by-step video we're going to post in the bin store co-op group. so everybody can see. Or you can go to Colton Carlson's page, and he has some great, I think he has a 6-video collection about opening a bin store. So he does fantastic. And he's open to get advice out there. I met those guys at the show. They're incredible guys, young guys. They're like the young, I consider we're like the OG of the industry, and they're the young guns. All right, someday we'll be retiring, and they'll be taking over the empire. So they're great guys, and they're willing to help anybody out. So feel free to reach out to them. Is it an insult to call your liquidation in bin stores a thrift store? Yeah, it is an insult. It's not a thrift. Not an insult, because I don't take offense to hardly anything, unless you talk about my big nose or something like that, or this thing on my neck. But anyways. No, it's not a thrift store. You just got to understand the difference between thrift and resale, okay? So thrift is all donated merchandise. Resale store or consignment. So resale is people bring stuff into you, you buy it off them and resell it. Consignment means people bring stuff into you, you pay them after it sells a percentage of your sales. All right, so thrift, resale, and consignment. The liquidation store is really you're buying liquidated merchandise from large sellers by the truckload, and then you're selling that at a fraction of the price. So no, I mean thrift is just different. The problem with thrift, I would never call myself a thrift store, even if I thought it would help in the marketing, because when you hear, like, you're never going to get a 65-inch curved TV in a thrift store, right? Yeah. But you do in my store, because people sell them to me all the time. You're never going to get, I mean, not that you can't find high-end stuff in a thrift store, but it's normally like something that's obscure that nobody knows what it is, right? Like you can find, like one time I found an ashtray that had an engraving on the bottom. I looked up the engraving, and I sold the ashtray for $650, and it was like $3. Yeah. Those are the kind of things you'll find that are expensive in a thrift store. But you're never going to find a PS5 or a much high-end stuff sometimes, but not much. A lot of times the people with the high-end stuff, what they'll do is they'll have an estate sale. Let's say they pass away in Florida. A lot of people come to Florida to die, and they have an estate sale. Can I say that? Is it okay to say it?
You said it.
So they have it. This is live, right? So they have an estate sale. They sell 90% off, and most of the good stuff goes at the estate sale. Then they donate the rest to a charity. Then that stuff is thrift. So I don't know. You're just going to find better stuff in a consignment. A pawn shop, right? Pawn shop always has a lot of good stuff. And then, a liquidation store will be a store merchandise that comes in.
So Anthony Hernandez says, how do you deal with or mitigate theft from employees as well as customers? Love your content. Keep up the great work.
All right. Thanks, Anthony. Now, listen, you can be addicted to theft or not. All right. So I know a lot of people, and I don't know if you're going to watch my video, but I know a lot of people that are addicted to theft, and they dedicate their lives to stopping people from stealing. So they shift their focus from selling to stealing. And I disagree with that. And you probably should not own a retail store if that's the way you think. If you think everybody's stealing, you should get out of the business right now, because you will slowly go downhill. You will piss people off. And instead of gaining, so we focus on our sales. We focus on gaining customers every day and building our business. When you focus on theft, you kick customers out every day and focus on ruining your business, okay? I don't know how many times I've had employees come up to me. This is a great example. The other day, about a month ago, an employee came up to me, and like, this lady is in the dressing room ripping off tags and stealing clothes. And I'm sitting there talking to my buddy, right? Talking to my buddy. Hey, blah, blah, blah. I'm talking to my buddy. I'm like, did you see her take the tags off? No. But she went in there with clothing and came out, and there's tags in the dressing room. Like, did you know the tags were in the dressing room beforehand? She says, I don't think they were in there, right? And I'm talking to my buddy, right? Then all of a sudden, his wife walks up and says, some bitch is accusing me of stealing clothes. And I'm like, whoa. These aren't broke people. Yeah. There's no way this lady is stealing. So they're accusing my buddy's wife of stealing. I mean, that's absurd. That's absurd to have that kind of mentality. Now, don't get me wrong. If you see somebody pick something up and put it in their pocket, you come to me and we'll confront them. But if you don't see what happened, stay away from it, because all you're going to do is piss people off and lose customers. So, so as far as internal theft, you manage it the best you can. We do have cameras in our stores. We try our best, but I trust. I'm a guy that trusts before I distrust. And when employee steals, normally an employee steals regularly, right? They don't just steal one time and that's done. Normally they're stealing constantly and maybe every shift. So one of these days they might get away with it 5 or 10 times. But one of these days you're going to go, huh, that was weird. Like my Bitcoin bull was there when I went to work and now it's gone. And that employee was working there, right? And so then you're gonna, in your mind, you're gonna say, like, we're gonna keep an eye out for this person just in case. Flags. You're not accusing anybody, right? You're right, red flags. You're not accusing, but you're gonna keep an eye out for that person. And if there's continued stealing, you're gonna catch them and you're gonna let them go, and then you're gonna hire somebody else, hopefully that's honest. But for the most part, I love my employees here at all my stores. I trust them. I trust them until I don't trust them. So I would like you to think that way. And then as far as cash, so my bin stores do not accept cash. And only the first week did I ever get any complaints about that. Now everybody knows. Everybody knows. People told me that's illegal, which it's not. People said nobody will shop here, which they do. Do I have to go to the bank every day? No. Do I ever have to worry about a register operator stealing cash? No. I don't have to worry about it. And my manager doesn't touch a penny, right? Right, they settle every day. The next morning, it's in my bank account. Yeah. I love it. I love it. I do take cash in my big store. I really wish I would have changed that when I started. I don't know if I would have done it here, but the bins. So remember,
it's at a mall, so I don't think that would.
Yeah, we're in a mall here. So, but bin stores are all about saving money, bringing value, and keeping things easy. We dump stuff in a bin. People buy it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, depending on the day. We use the IKEA bags. And that's it. And nobody steals cash there. Do they steal product? Probably. If you have a bin store, you have to open everything up. I don't care what it is. A box of tampons, right? Open it up because they're going to stuff phone cords and cases. They're going to stuff all this stuff in there. Jewelry. You got jewelry. You got to open everything up and maybe post signs. We open every box at the cash register. So they don't, and of course, when they get it up there, be like, oh, I didn't know that was in there. Of course you didn't. Of course you didn't. But can you accuse them of stealing? No, you still don't accuse them of stealing. But just open up every box. When you go to Walmart and you buy a cooler, they open the cooler to make sure nothing's inside, all right? When you buy a pair of sneakers, they pull both pairs of sneakers out. They make sure the sizes are the same, and they make sure you didn't shove anything in there. So it's just part of your business. So get ready for that. Do people steal stuff? Yes, people steal stuff. But I sell way more stuff than people steal, and therefore I can make a profit at this business.
All right. Gorilla Lace says, I buy on B stock for around 20 to 28% retail and get between 50 to 75% shipping fees. Decent cash flow, but it's a lot of work.
I agree, Gorilla. I agree. That's why I'm telling you that 10% is my magic number. There was a time on B stock that you could buy at 10%, but those days are gone. There's too many people on there now. When Amazon first came on B stock, I think I bought like $400,000 worth of merchandise over hundreds of auctions at 10%. That included the shipping, and you just can't do that anymore. I looked recently; you couldn't do it anymore. So it's a little tougher. If you want to buy the truckloads on there, you can get a little bit more reasonable price. Think about it: the bigger you become, the more you can spend, the less people are in that market. So if you're buying one pallet, there's thousands of people buying one pallet at a time. If you're buying a truckload, there's only probably 500 to 1,000 people in the United States buying truckloads, right? But what if there's a truckload of $500,000 inventory, right? And they want 10%, which is 50,000. There's only a handful of people buying $50,000 truckloads or $100,000 truckloads. So if you can get your cash flow right to that level where you're buying $50,000 to $100,000 truckloads, meaning you're getting $1 million of the stuff for $100,000, that's a freaking home run. That's a home run. I mean, that's what's easy to sell.
I got a question for you.
Go.
All right. So if I can't afford a truckload, wouldn't it be best for me to team up with other resellers and buy a truckload?
100%. And we do that in my area. So we have a bin store operator down the road. He was an old manager of mine, decided to open his own bin store. And then on the other side of town, there is some guys that do like a warehouse sale. Mm-hmm. So whenever they find a truckload, they don't have the buying power that I have, right? Yeah. So when they find a truck, they don't have a dock. So they call me up and say, Tom, there's a truckload. It's $10,000. Will you want to split it with me? And sometimes we split it with all three of us. And so the only thing I'd recommend So they ship it here, then they come pick it up and they take their pallets. Is you just got to be clear on who gets what, right? Because, you know, let's say it's 24 pallets, you got 3 people splitting it. I get the first 8, somebody else gets the second 8, and the other guy gets the third 8.
Without looking at it.
Without looking at it. What if the second 8 have like, you know, I bought in Home Depot turbo boxes, you know, huge 5-foot boxes with like 3 items in it. Are they going to complain? They just got to know they can't complain.
Yeah.
You know, so you got to figure out who's going to get what. Because if you pull it all, what I notice is I pull it all out if I don't have those agreements and I make sure they're there, and then I'm the one who takes the loss because I feel guilty because, you know, I'm the bigger buyer and, you know, I can absorb the loss better than they can. But that's not really fair to me. So just have it clear and have them show up whenever the truck gets there, so you know nobody's picking, nobody's doing anything. That would be the biggest thing. But yeah, team up. Certainly team up with somebody and figure out a way to split it. That is definitely a way to do it. But I even heard like Mike Sims from Midtown Liquidators today was telling your buddy that he sells half truckloads and quarter truckloads, which I never heard of before. Well, and then he's saying they have like box trucks taking the stuff over as opposed to a tractor trailer. So that can be another option too. So hey, go see Mike Sims, Midtown Liquidators. He's got a group here on Facebook. You know, most of my loads come from Mike.
Gorilla Lace says Bitcoin is doing all right this morning, and he also says the thing is with buying truckloads, all the items would be different and not replenishable. I sell exclusively e-commerce, Amazon, eBay. My thinking was that I could just keep buying the same loads. It's not easy to do that.
Yeah. So Bitcoin is up 3% today. I'm excited. You know, I'm all about finding your side hustle, putting a portion of your money into an appreciating asset and building your wealth. I started in 2018 buying Bitcoin and Ethereum, and I am 10x of everything I put in there. And, you know, it's changed my life. We talk about wealth being a journey. You have to decide when you're going to start that journey. All right? And it's a 20-year journey. So I'm fortunate enough to start in 2003. And so I'm only 2 years left from my journey being over. I mean, I still got a lot of time to make more money than that, but you got to decide to start that journey. You know, especially you young guys, man. If you're not putting some of your money away, somebody asked me this weekend, they said they were going to put some money into real estate, which, you know, in the long term, real estate is always good. It's an appreciating asset. You know, so what's an appreciating asset? You know, it's like artwork, waterfront real estate, you know, anything, you know, anything rare. When you put rare in front of something, just about anything rare that you know, make sure your grandma's not collecting it, because that stuff goes from rare to like nobody wants it anymore. Make sure it's collectible by on Honus Wagner baseball card, right? Any appreciating asset. My favorite is crypto. And it's done me really well. So you got to make that decision. But yeah, it's up 3% today. And what was the other thing you said? Get rid of the word replenishable. All right. If you want replenishable, you go wholesale. You don't go liquidation. Okay. Wholesale, you set up an account. The problem is, all right, let's say you want Kleenex. All right. You decide to be a distributor of Kleenex. You're going to sell on eBay. You're going to sell on Amazon. And you walk up to, I don't know if it's Procter & Gamble or not, but let's say you walk up to Procter & Gamble and say, hey, I'm Tom Schultz. I want to buy Kleenex. All right. Well, how many thousands of stores do you have, Tom Schultz? Oh, no, I sell on eBay. Oh, well, you know, Mr. Schultz, unless you're going to do a minimum order quantity of 1.8 million per month, we're not going to sell to you, right?
Yep.
You can't get the stuff that way. You just can't get the stuff that way. If you're in liquidation, it's one-off products. And now there's times you're going to get 30 or 40 or 100 or 500 of one item, which is going to be good long tail item for you, but you're never going to be able to get that replenishable. So that needs to be out of your mind. You're going to have to go wholesale.
Not even teaming up with someone else.
Yeah, not even teaming up with someone else. I mean, you know, I had a private label tape company that was in my, the manufacturer was in my hometown in New York. So I became friends with the gentleman that owned the company. So I was able to go in there and negotiate a lower rate than he was at. I mean, he was like the #1 seller to the NHL. It was the #1 tape, the official tape of NHL hockey, which was awesome. But he would let me go in there and I private labeled his tape, and I also sold his tape on Amazon. He didn't have anything on Amazon.
You had an unfair advantage.
I did. So a competitive advantage that nobody else had. So if you can get one of those with a friend, a family member, a neighbor, a cousin, somebody you went to college with, you know, that's different. That's different. That's what I recommend private labeling and trying to figure out how to build a business on. We did real well, and now my partner runs that, so I sold it all to him. But if you can find a competitive advantage in a company, there you go. That's the only way to get a replenishable. But if you're in liquidation, you got to get that off your chest. It just doesn't happen.
That was the last question.
That was the last question?
It was.
How long we been on, Stan? 47 minutes? All right, so listen, Vegas was great. I want to thank Esteban for coming in on our live. Thank you, everybody who we met. Thank you, everybody who watched the live cast today. We're going to try to do this daily, Monday through Friday. If anybody has any questions, get ready for us. How hard is it posting for your eBay, Amazon department? So remember, we got kicked off Amazon. We are trying to get back on. Why did we get kicked off? It's because we buy truckloads from Amazon, and then we relist the same stuff we bought in the truckloads back on Amazon. And remember, when you get these loads from Amazon, there's a reason, all right? There's a reason. And sometimes the reason can be it's counterfeit. Sometimes, it's a fake Chinese knockoff. So just be careful relisting your Amazon loads on Amazon. Okay, there's a reason it's in those boxes, and be careful of that. Now,
I would say that it's very hard to determine when they're counterfeit or not as well, because sometimes we're putting those on eBay, and eBay is like, no, these are counterfeit as well. So, I mean, how are we supposed to know? It's everything on the actual item looks perfect.
Yeah, there's a class action lawsuit that I'm going to tell everybody about right now that somebody should call them and set this up, especially if you're an attorney. But remember those dog collars? What were those? Sorrento? Okay, if you remember in the news, Sorrento dog collars were killing dogs, right? Ridiculous, right? But what I believe happened, and now listen, I don't have any proof to this, but I do have proof to my experience with it. I would get Amazon Smalls from Amazon, direct from Amazon. In there would be Sorrento dog collars that were counterfeit. I didn't know they were counterfeit. We would resell them on eBay. We would relist them on Amazon. And could they be part of that problem? Certainly they could be. Now, Sorrento has been damaged millions and millions of dollars. Their reputation went to the freaking floor. I mean, those dog collars are like $55 each. I don't even know the amount of damage. Now, Amazon knowingly pulled this product, being counterfeit, put it in these pallets, and then resold them. So, be careful of the stuff you get in the Amazon small pallets. Be careful. There's a reason why everything is in there. Now, the reason might be simple. The reason might be that this seller in China was kicked off, and he had a bunch of product there, and Amazon asked him to ship it back. They said no, so they put it in the pallets. Yeah, it could be simple reasons, but it also could be a reason that is bad for the company. So just be careful of that.
Let's see if there's anything else.
I didn't ask the InkFrog.
I got that. Where would you recommend buying truckloads in the Midwest besides Excess Limited?
I mean, in the Midwest, there's a lot. I mean, there's like Mid-Tennessee Wholesale. There's Excess Limited. There's a ton. You're in the best place in the world for truckloads, because that's Central USA. That's the central point for all the shipping. So you have a great spot. Start going to the Facebook group Truckload Liquidations, which I think is ran by Bilo. Now, I've never dealt with Bilo, but I heard so much good stuff about them this week. If you go in there, people are posting loads every day, hundreds of loads every day. So go in that group, and you can certainly find something in your area. But if you look in the Tennessee and the Ohio and Indiana area, there's tons of people. You should have no problem. Even post it in Bin Store Co-op group where you're looking for it, and everybody will answer you and give you a bunch of sources. So if you can get into Excess, though, that's direct. They're the contract holder for Amazon, so that's where I'd recommend.
So Gorilla Lace does wholesale from Chinese suppliers. Yeah,
you can do that. You certainly can do that, and that was a big thing, But Corona has really messed up that whole market. I mean, I went into Walgreens when I was down in Vegas, and Stan, right? I mean, literally, it was like 90% empty. Like there was like whole sections with only one product in it. So the supply chain is hugely disrupted right now. And we heard, so we dealt with we talked to shippers when we were in Vegas, and it used to cost like $3,000 to ship a container from China to the USA. So you would order your products. Like I bought Segways off a guy that did it. So he would ship them here. He would ship golf carts here. He'd ship scooters, anything electric. He would ship here. That same load now is like $50,000
To ship?
to ship.
Ooh.
Just to ship.
Nova, right?
What's that?
That was from Nova.
Nova?
The company Nova.
Oh no, yeah, Nova's another seller out of Georgia. But yeah, that's the guy that was talking about it. Yeah. So it's insane, the prices. Everything is being disrupted. If you look, you look on TV or look on the news, they show like thousands of Teslas like in a field, because they don't have the computer chip they need. There's huge backlog of merchandise. So you can, Alibaba was the way to go before Corona. Was, somebody would come up to me and say, hey, Tom, I want you to sell this product. I'll give it to you for $500 a piece. And then I'd go on Alibaba, research it, and find out I can buy it for $128, right? So he's hitting a home run off me. So I would just order the product myself, ship it in, private label it myself, put it on Amazon. But I don't know if that game's over, but it's certainly been diminished a lot because of the rising costs. And who knows how this is going to work out, I don't know if it's, not to get into like politics but I don't know if this is China's way of cutting the United States off. And, they are the supply chain of the world right now. And, United States needs to be more responsible and make more products here. That's our problem, that we don't make enough stuff here. We make tech here, but we don't make enough stuff, and that needs to change.
So I have Gorilla Lace. I do computer components. The VAT is pretty bad. Also, the shipping prices are quite a bit. And Biscuit Butt is very inspired.
Thanks for the Biscuit Butt, a regular on here. Thanks, buddy. I'm assuming it's a guy, but I don't know. The VAT is, I think that's a tax, the tax you pay when you import stuff. So, and then you got to go through a freight forwarder. You got, it's just a pain. It's a pain in the butt. But if you're a smart guy, I'm not a smart guy. If you're a smart guy, you can figure all that stuff out. I prefer, and I think that's a good business buying from China if you can figure that out. I prefer to find U.S. based sellers or importers in the U.S. and trying to build a business off them. You have huge supply chain issues even before what we're talking about. Imagine that you have a product, you're selling this product, and you're selling it for $50, and you're doing 10 sales a week, then you do 20 sales, then you do 50 sales, and all of a sudden you're doing 1,000 sales a week, you're killing it, and you run out of product, and you find out it's 6 weeks out from getting a restock. Then your product sales go down to nothing, right? And then you have to start all over again, building up your reputation to sell that product again. So I'd rather find a U.S.-based manufacturer, a U.S.-based supplier, so that you can solve, your inventory problems real easy,
So Gorilla Lace says private label is very competitive now, hard to get to unless you're a massive seller. And Z Abra says $55K is like paying for the entire truck to buy a truck itself.
Yeah, no, it's insane how much they're charging for shipping, but yeah, very competitive. I did the private label. I did the Chinese stuff for a while. I would rather sell liquidated merchandise on Amazon. I did most of it fulfilled by merchant as opposed to fulfilled by Amazon. But I get why people do FBA. If you don't have, I have a lot of space. So space is one thing I'm the luxury of. I'm in a former Macy's, so we're in the studio right now, right? But there's like 100 of these studios in this building that we can store stuff in. But if you don't have the storage you want to be fulfilled by Amazon, which means you ship everything to Amazon, Amazon puts it on their shelves and they ship it out when it sells. But I've just always done fulfilled by merchant. Getting some truckloads instead of pallet by pallet. Yeah, I certainly would try to get a truckload versus a pallet. You just knock out a lot of buyers, and you're going to get a much better price on it. Amazon, you're going to get a 24 pallet Amazon Smalls. Right now, they're going for like $15,000 on average. So $15,000, and you're going to get 30,000 pieces in it. It's just a no-brainer. You're going to be able to sell. It's going to come with food. It's going to come with phone cases. It's going to come with masks. Masks are slowing way down though. But you're going to get a lot of good stuff in there, and that's what I like to work on, the volume. I like to work on volume instead of price. I'd rather be the cheapest guy selling the most than the most expensive guy selling the fewest. So.
So Biscuit Butt said he tried to reach out to you last day of ASD, but sure that you were a busy man. Next time, maybe.
Yeah, sorry, Biscuit, but I was probably hungover. No, just joking.
Is Biscuit Butt in Vegas?
Yeah. So I did have a lot of people reach out to me asking to meet up, and I just honestly didn't have enough time. My phone died one day. I didn't charge it because I got home too late. Forgot
you
to
didn't
charge
have
my
a
phone.
charger on you?
I know. Stan didn't come prepared, right? Come on, Stan. You need to.
Next time, or be more organized.
We're learning from every time we go on these road trips. So, but yeah, certainly reach out to me. I'll be happy to offer any advice I can. I just didn't have a lot of time to meet up with people. Plus, we were filming for a couple other YouTube channels while we were there. It was fun. It was exciting. I love Vegas. But I'm certainly not ignoring anybody out there. I would be happy to offer my advice to anybody that reaches out.
Gorilla Lay says the video quality recently has been amazing. Appreciate all the work. Stan.
That's Stan the man. He's the guy. Every penny I give him, he upgrades his camera equipment, which benefits me. So I'm happy, right? He's one of those addicted to buying stuff. Just kidding. But he did buy this GoPro. He's running it right now. Maybe we'll post this video on the GoPro. But you can post a video and see the whole studio.
Yeah.
So it's a 360 view. So you can just hit what button do you hit on YouTube?
The VR button.
So you hit the VR button, right? And you can turn the video on, and then you can turn the video around. I don't know. Our studio might be a little messy. They might see how messy the studio. Back here,
Paul.
yeah, they can see Paul. Back here, it looks real nice because we got the green screen, but we got there's a TV stand on the floor we got to put together. There's boxes of green screens everywhere. There's our bulletin boards. I got a bulletin. You don't see it, but I got a bulletin board over here with all the things I want to talk about, all the advice I want to give. So it's a lot of fun. Thank you for your help. Next video, let us know what your issue you are currently trying to figure out. All right. Yeah. No, I certainly always want to talk about the downside to this business because I don't want to make it sound like it's rosy all the time because it's a lot of work. It's a lot of effort. If you got to surround yourself with good people. And if you can do all of that, then you can become super successful. But it's certainly not, I think bin stores are super easy to run. You do have to put the legwork in to get it started and market them. And we work every day on marketing them, Facebook Lives every day, daily. But they are easy, and I love being in this space. I mean, until inventory dries up, which I don't foresee it happening, I don't foresee Amazon getting smaller. I mean, they might change the way. I can't see how they could change the way they get rid of stuff, but they might. There was one company there that I've talked to before. I never bought from. I know they got a 1 million square foot warehouse in Tennessee, and when I went to the show, they were export only. So I went to talk to the guy again.
Overseas?
Yeah, you can only ship the Amazon truckloads export. And so it made me wonder, is Amazon coming down on contract holders, making them ship them overseas? And will that disrupt our supply line? I didn't see it with anybody else, but just with this company.
Are you saying that we have to buy it from overseas?
No, I'm saying that the only people that can buy it is exporters. So,
but we'll have to buy it from there.
That's right. So maybe we can send some to the Philippines.
We could do that.
So I don't know if that's where this is going to go. That certainly could shut down all the bin stores if that happened that way. I can, because America is Amazon's biggest and most profitable market, obviously. So they don't want this liquidated goods to go into the market, because if you buy something in a bin, this Bitcoin bull in a bin, and that means you're not going to go to Amazon and try to buy it there. I mean, think about how many of the Home Depot and the Lowe's loads that are on the market. I mean, that stuff's flooded. If you need a saw, you should just go to Facebook Marketplace, type in saw. You're going to buy the same damn saw you'd get at Home Depot or Lowe's for half the price, and it's going to be brand new from one of the pallets we buy. That has to be hurting their sales. There's no way in the world that's not hurting their sales. It's got to be a huge issue for them. So I don't know how they're going to respond to that in the future. I mean, maybe they all make everything be exported, but I don't know. But it's certainly got to hurt their sales. But if they're going to export it, obviously they have to sell them for cheaper, because you have the additional costs, and especially with shipping now. If you're the price doesn't go down if you the price has to go down if you're exporting, because you have to mark up for the shipping, and then you're going to get less money in a foreign country than you would be in the United States,
Absolutely.
right? If you're shipping a truckload to Colombia, they can afford less than we can here in the United States. So therefore, they have to buy the truckloads cheaper. So Amazon, Home Depot, they're going to get less for these truckloads, but they're going to get it out of the country. So I don't know what the better value is to their countries. I mean, to their companies. So would you sell split truckloads out of Florida? I'm in Orlando opening a store very soon. Uh-oh, who is that?
Irvin Garage.
Irvin, yes, I would split a truckload with you, Irvin. I'm not that kind of guy that hates competition. You want to open up next door to me, buddy, I'd still split a truckload with you. That doesn't bother me. I'd like to know what kind of business you're going to open. We can help you out with anything you got there. We do sell some pallets here, not a lot. Now, I want you to know I am a pallet seller, but the only reason I sell pallets is because I have my local suppliers and I buy everything from them. So when I have too much, more than I need in my bin stores and my liquidation stores, I will sell off the excess of untouched pallets. I don't touch them. I don't know what's in them. I just have set prices on them. All right, and I make $100 a pallet off them. So that's why I have pallet sales here. I also have pallet sales because I sell pallets of books. That I pull the books out of the Amazon Smalls because you can get $500 to $600 for a pallet of books. I pull the clothing out of the Amazon Smalls. I sell the clothing here in my store because I have a clothing department. I pull the medicines out of my Amazon Smalls because I make a pallet of medicines. And when I get a pallet of medicines full, I get $2,000 a pallet, way more than I pay for the Smalls pallet. So, you want to figure out what you can do with the stuff in the Smalls. There is better things you can do than put it in your bin store. You can certainly make more pallets out of those, sell those pallets off. So there's value. Yeah, I mean, certainly, Irving, I would be happy to partner up with you. I can show you the loads that I get with Split One. There's Amazon Smalls. There's actually Amazon Smalls in Orlando. In Orlando, the last truckload I bought was $15,000, which put my cost at like $575 a pallet. The problem is it was half food. Now I have a food buyer, so you got to have a food buyer if you're going to buy these truckloads. But they also had high-end electronics in there. I think we had 12. We got the manifest. You get the manifest after it gets shipped. And we got 12 S21 Samsung phones. I kept one right here, and they're like $1,000 on eBay. So that just about paid for the whole load.
So Irvin Garage says, I already bought some from you, the excess loads, a lot of food, but had to learn the hard way. But no hard feelings. LOL. That's what he said.
Yeah, I wonder which ones you bought. You probably bought the ones with the high-end electronics in it. And yeah, those did have food. And if you weren't fortunate enough to get one of the cell phones or Apple products in there, then I think it was probably not a great deal for you. So I agree with you on that one. But if I know one person got 3 of the cell phones in the truck in one pallet, so they hit a home run on their pallet. And then that's what's tough in this business. They're not all great. A lot of times most of the time they're good, but they're not always great. 1 out of every 4 is great, and 1 out of every 20 is a home run. So you just got to keep playing that game until you can get to that home run, and that's when you become successful.
Rallo Shop says they said they could sell mediums in the States and smalls only export.
Okay.
Referring to
they're probably referring to the company
stock?
I was talking. No, the company I was talking about. That could be true. I mean, I do see mediums offered everywhere, and I do see the prices going down. I don't know. I think I saw Excess Limited offering mediums out of Orlando for 12 to 15% of retail, something like that. Oops. Yeah, I mean, maybe I'm not sure. I didn't, the guy was kind of a dink, if I can say that out loud. I don't know if dink's a word you use it nowadays, but I walked up to the guy and I've talked to him before and like, hey, what's going on? He's like, do you export? I'm like, no, I don't export. He goes, we only export. I'm like, well, you're not selling. No, we only export. Well, no, I'm like, this guy's having a bad day. So I just moved on. Nobody's going to bring me down. Esteban, nobody's going to bring me down. So
Biscuit Butt says, at what point did you realize this reselling business was worth it? The grind in the beginning is brutal at times.
It is. You know what? I made some mistakes along the road, but I'll tell you this. I got in the liquidation business around 2003. I opened my first Resale America up in New York, and I ran it myself. Literally 1 year in, my accountant called me up and said, you need to go spend money. You're making way too much money. And where I made a mistake from that point on is maybe my head grew too big. I hired a manager, right? I hired a manager and let them run the business. And then I decided to start opening other businesses. And then my business went downhill. And then I stopped making the kind of money I was previous to that. So, maybe I needed a better manager. I love the people that were my managers, but they just don't have the same passion that I had for the business. But once that accountant, it took that 1 5-minute conversation with my accountant to realize this is where I want to be the rest of my life. I'm going to figure it out. Mm-hmm. So when I was in rural upstate New York, which, is very worn down and, it's not a great place to do business. Now that I moved to Florida, it's just the inventory has been expansive. The customers are here, the real estate, everything is perfect. And it's helped me out to become really successful in this business, or as successful as we are, I love this business and I never want to do anything else. The minute, we got a clock on the wall right here, right? If you can have a job where you don't look at the clock during the day, that's the job you want to be at, right? But if you're a clock watcher going like, oh shit, it's only 2 o'clock and I got to get off at 5. Oh, it's 2:30 and I get, if you're looking at your clock, you don't want to be there.
Yep.
Do you look at the clock?
Never.
That's what I love this guy. That's why I love this guy.
Honestly, I'm like, damn, it's 5 already.
Yeah. So when you're doing your own thing, you're doing your own shtick, because Esteban's like a hybrid, right? He's a contract employee for me. So not a contract worker, right? Yeah. He owns his own company. We negotiated a price that I pay him a week to manage my eBay store, but he's his own man. He's his own boss. He is accountable to me, but he's and he has all his side stuff that he can do. He can use my facilities. So that's what I prefer. That's what I like, because now, he's motivated to get things done. He's motivated to earn more money. So yeah, if you find a job where you don't look at the clock, keep that freaking job, please. And I don't care if you are working for somebody else. If that makes you happy, and you're better as an employee than you are as a boss, then do that.
Just take some of your money and put it in Bitcoin.
Put some money in Bitcoin. All right. Are we done here? We've been over an hour now. At what
that was
point?
The last question.
Okay, good. So we're going to end it right there. It's been a little bit over an hour. So Esteban, Tom from Resale America, Liquidation Motivations, my channel. I got 2 bin stores, one in Port Richey, Florida, in Jasmine Plaza, one in Winter Haven, Florida at 2820 Recker Highway. They're both called Deal Days. Go down there and visit them. Resale America is my store. So thanks for watching my videos. Please like and subscribe to my videos. 53% of the people that watch my videos don't like and subscribe. It dramatically helps me out if you do that. Maybe someday I'll be able to pay Stan more money if you guys do that. We get a little more revenue. How much do we make? How much do we make from YouTube? Currently, we make $400 a month from YouTube. All right. So, I always wondered what people made, so, we just want to get that up so we can actually pay Stan more money. He'll make him real happy, maybe do a better job with these videos. I'm just joking, Stan. But anyways, hey, thanks for liking and subscribing. Also go into our group, Bin Store Co-op. Join that group if you have any more questions, need more advice. We're going to do these lives daily, Monday through Friday. Resale America, Liquidation Motivation. Now go out there and make some money.